Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Home and Away, a podcast devoted to all things in and around the world of sporting Kansas City soccer. I am Drew Vanderploeg, joined once again, as always, by my good friend Cody Welton. This week on the podcast, well, we had to do it last week, didn't we? We had to get positive. We had to praise John Pulskamp. We had to make ourselves believe that even though their XGA is terrible this season, that there's a real team here that might be able to win games. XGD, to be completely honest, is terrible. We got put in our place big time this weekend. Sporting Kansas City gets pretty well demolished by the Colorado Rapids at home on Saturday, 4-1, and I mean it was every bit of that scoreline as far as like how it felt watching the game. This was not a good performance by this team on several levels. There were some bright spots here and there, but it was pretty much the team we thought they were when we started the season. And I think that that's probably the most difficult thing to sort of reckon with as we look forward to what this season might look like. But Cody, as I mentioned before we started the podcast, we're recording this on a Monday. Neither Cody and I had a ton of time to prepare for this one, which is probably for the best. I didn't have to rewatch the game because I literally had no time to do it. Life schedules again getting in the way, and so we're recording this several days earlier than normal, and so we're winging it a little bit on this one, which is kind of like what Sporting Kansas City seemed to be doing in this game.
We are. I guarantee you, we are better prepared than Sporting Kansas City was on Saturday night because they looked like they were just not up for it at all. I mean, I guess that's probably not fair since they were ahead of Colorado in tackles, and they did a good job winning duels. So maybe I'm being a little bit unfair, but man, they were a disorganized mess, and I think that honestly, I think that Wiki got pretty soundly outcoached in this one, and we can get into that a little bit later. But attending this game, it was like having the hopium switch to copium in real time. It's just like that transition is like, oh yeah, this team is really bad, and we shouldn't have necessarily expected anything different.
It was a struggle. The first 20 minutes or so of the match were so haphazard and stop-starty, and
I mean, I think that's by design. Like I think that is the way Colorado plays, and Colorado has the most yellow cards in MLS this season, and they come out and their intent is to bully the opposition, and I think that they did a good job of that. I mean, I think Sporting rose to the occasion, maybe as much as Sporting can, given this set of players, but they were just not. They were just not in the same sphere as in terms of being able to compete, and I think that is that's borne out by the XG numbers and by the final scoreline, honestly, which maybe even flattered Sporting KC a little bit.
I mean, I thought it was about what it felt like, but I think that. I mean, let's get into the structure a little bit, because I think that it was something that Sporting seemed really ill prepared to handle. Something we've discussed most of the year so far, especially since the regular season has started, is how good Sporting Kansas City has been at progressing the ball through the middle, finding Manu Garcia in the pocket, allowing him to turn with the ball and get forward. Colorado was having none of that shit.
No,
like none of it.
They were teeing off on Manu from the first minute, and just because I mean, I think this is part of the issue, right? Is that there are enough games into the season now where other teams have. They have, plenty of film that they can look at to scout Sporting Kansas City's tendencies, and it's obvious that Manu Garcia is what makes this team tick on many different levels. And so I think that it was apparent from the get-go that they were out to disrupt Manu, and they did a really great job of doing that, and really just by kicking the shit out of him every time he got the ball in the first 15, 20 minutes, and I think that disruption carried into the rest of the game.
It's not as if his teammates did him any favors
Amen.
in this regard, though.
Amen.
Like,
you and I have been hoping that Lasse Berg-Johnsen would be the one to sort of step up and shoulder some of that load, and that really did not take place in a meaningful way on Saturday.
Also, what it looked like to me is that Bartlett was playing a much more advanced role, and it looked like they had Manu and Lasse a little bit closer together, deeper, which I sort of also think eliminated the ability of him to be that outlet, because Manu wasn't the higher position player. And maybe it was because of the pressure that he sort of naturally started fading back.
I think that's what happened.
Maybe that's what was happening,
Yeah.
but Lasse can't be the one to pick out the pass to him if he's standing next to him.
Yeah.
So that it's difficult for him to do that. I'm not saying LBJ had a good game. I don't think he had a very good game. He was okay. He hit some really nice diagonals, some stuff like that. You can see his skill level at some. But as far as central ball progression, which has been a primary tenet of this team throughout the first 4 games of the season, they were ass at that in this game. Like, Matt Wells was intent on forcing them to progress the ball wide, which is a smart thing to do because they don't have any wide ball progressors on the team.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, this is what you would do if you had watched this team at all on film.
Right, and this isn't the only instance of Colorado having a tweak to sort of account for that, but it definitely was noticeable. And like this is the time this is the point where you really see limitations of like Jacob Bartlett coming out to the forefront, is because he couldn't compensate. I mean, he has not been a super active and dynamic player so far this year, and he was none of those things on Saturday either. He was basically absent, and I don't think he even had 20 touches in the whole game, which is criminal for someone who's playing in a more box to box midfield role. Even given the fact that you're trying to progress the ball down the wings and all of that, even given all of those caveats, for him not to get that a significant amount of touches is it's a huge problem. And you can still just imagine how much better that would be if Davis was playing in that role, but he's not. And that's obviously a failure on roster construction, and so like all of the issues that we know are apparent with this team really got pushed to the forefront on Saturday night, because the opposition took advantage of all of SKC's shortcomings.
And what did it mean? It meant a lot of turnovers in central midfield, and an opponent that loves to go downhill immediately doing so against us, against a back line that was not prepared to address it in any way.
That was really like one of the most disappointing things for me, is that like this is a team that has, we know that they spent last season with basically no viable center backs. We seem to have a lot of center backs on the roster right now, but all of them are shit, and they all played like shit on Saturday. Those of them who were able to play, and it's kind of like, well, what's the goal here? We're starting 3 center backs, but
we're starting 3 center backs because no left backs were healthy.
Right.
There were 0 left backs healthy. There was a converted right back healthy, and the actual only other right back on the team is just coming back from a hamstring injury. Again, this gets into the whole roster construction situation.
Exactly.
They just it's. We said this in February. This is going to be a fucking problem, and it is becoming a problem because no team stays healthy all season. You deal with injuries, you have problems, and this team is not equipped to deal with injuries. They have no depth, 0. No. So when they have injuries, which this team already has, and it looks like Wyatt Meyer is probably fucking gone for a while.
What was his injury?
He had a knee injury, okay. And I assume that I don't know. I really don't know. We haven't heard anything. It's Monday, right? So we haven't heard anything specifically about what he's going to end up. Thankfully, he was sort of playing left back. He was really.
Yeah.
They did this sort of asymmetric back three thing again,
Mhm.
but they shifted it the other direction with Meyer as the left center back, sort of left back, elbow back kind of role. And Shoppy was nominally playing as a wing back, although I felt like Shoppy was getting a lot more forward than he did against LA.
I mean,
which
he
was
did.
interesting.
He did not have very many touches. He did not see much of the ball at all. And if you look at the attacking directions in the attacking sort of heat map of Sporting Kansas City, it was all on the right side. Now, Shoppy did score a goal, so good for him.
Wyatt Meyer to Shoppy is not a substantive. Is not
No.
a real. It's not a useful way to progress the ball up the left side regularly.
Amen.
Like you're just
Amen.
not gonna. That is not a way you're gonna find joy regularly.
Amen.
I will say that I thought Kwaku Ajibang did decent as a left back.
As well as you could expect, sure.
For a guy that just got thrown into this game,
Yep.
who's probably, I don't know if he's ever played left back in his life.
Yeah.
He's a left-footed central midfielder. It goes back to Bobby Warshaw's philosophy that anyone under 20 is a potential fullback. I mean, and he's not wrong. Like, I will say that I think Ajibang probably put in those 40-ish minutes a better left back performance than we've seen from Jaden Reed a couple times.
Yeah.
And that I'm not suggesting that that's a position he needs to play regularly, but his defensive work was good. His activity was good. He was at least in the game, which is more than I can say for a lot of the other players. Man, the body language on this team after the third goal was absolute fucking garbage. And to your point about center backs, bro, what the fuck has happened to Jansen Miller?
I mean, I think that he's just
like he is.
I think he doesn't know. He just doesn't know his limitations. Like he doesn't know when to push forward, when to stay back, and he just got caught out a lot of the time. And it's like he didn't realize that everything had been flipped, right? And that Jake was the one getting forward, and Meyer was the one staying back. And so Miller thought that he could get forward too, and he got caught upfield too often and was not athletic enough.
On the first goal, like what is he doing pressing there?
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, there's a
Jake
reason.
is already too far upfield and has missed his man.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jansen decides to still press.
Yeah.
And he has no chance of getting to that ball.
Yeah.
There's no way he's getting to that ball first.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I think a lot of this actually goes back to Wiki, right? And so I think that it seems apparent that Wiki, with the arrival of LBJ, Wiki sort of decided to go ahead and transition to maybe something more closely resembling what he would perceive as like the final form of the team, with like a 4-3-3 with a single pivot type of setup, and I just don't think that the team was ready for that either by the personnel that were available or by their own individual skill sets. I just don't think that the team was ready to make that step, and I think that if he had stayed like more towards the kind of game plan that he had implemented in the first couple of games, with more of a double pivot, with more of a sort of like three center back, wing back setup, I think they probably would have been a little bit more successful, because it seemed to me that this was a team that was sort of caught in between what they had been doing and what they had been told to do in this game, which were different game models to some degree.
So is that what you mean by getting coached by Matt Wells? Is that Wiki was a little bit naive about?
So I think that Wells correctly identified that Manu was the key, and he correctly identified how to stop Manu. I think that another thing that Wells did is he kept wide players very high, and so that really pinned the wide players for Sporting Kansas City, including Jake Davis. It had pinned them back and kept them from getting involved in the attack in the early stages of the game. I think that it was very clear that the goal was to really be physical and aggressive in the middle, in the midfield, and to force, as you have already noted, to force those progression patterns out wide, and that Colorado seemed ready to pounce on those. And when you couple that with the fact that Paxten Aaronson was really not playing a dedicated central role. He was playing out left, and also tasked with the freedom to sort of move all around. And I think that it seemed clear that the goal was to use Navajo and Aaronson to sort of you pin the wide players back, but then you also use the center of the pitch to pull the center backs out, a la Jansen Miller, and then you play in behind them with speed and direct play. And I think that that's what Colorado did, and it was really easy for Colorado. I mean, I think that was one of the really disappointing things to me, is that Colorado's goals, like for the most part, were pretty like easy goals,
Simple.
right? Like simple, and
it reminded me of last year. It really did.
Absolutely. Like they were getting like wide open looks in front of goal. I mean, that's why the XG differential is like so huge, is because Colorado's shots were like very high quality shots, because they were just passing the ball down along the wide areas and the half spaces, and then winding up with easy tap-ins in front of goal. And a large part of that, I think, was the fact that they were baiting center backs into moving into the midfield and then playing past and through them.
I mean, Colorado averaged 1/4 of an XG per shot.
That's a lot.
That's more than a lot.
That's a lot.
Absurd. Well, that's an absurd amount.
And look, so the other thing, and this is another aspect in which Wiki kind of got out-coached. The other thing is that, Colorado had 17 shots, and Sporting Kansas City didn't even break double figures. And
well, this has been a problem all year.
Look,
this is a common refrain,
right? But you can't.
But what they've been better at is team defending and not allowing the shot quality to be that high. So they have been giving up volume like this, but they have not been giving up this high quality of volume in the past.
Exactly.
So they've been much better at not allowing these doorstep chances, and that was the thing that was really frustrating about this. Is like 3 of these goals were just like literally just tapping in.
But this is a literal. This is a recipe for a wooden spoon, right? When you're giving up super high quality chances, and you're not even, it's not only that you're not creating chances, you're not even generating double digit shots, you are going to lose.
Yeah. I'm more concerned about generating the quality shots off of the chances than I am about the number of them. Something with Wiki that has been fairly common since they've started, they haven't created a ton of shots, but their efficiency has been high, and their quality of shot taking has been high. They do not take shitty shots. This team does not take shitty shots.
Yep.
And in fact, they will recycle before they take a bad shot. That is something that seems to be fairly like ingrained in Wiki's coaching style, which I can at least at some level respect. But the problem is that they're not, even when they're creating high quality scoring chances, those aren't turning into the 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 XG shots.
Right.
They're 0.15 XG shots.
Yep.
And when we say all of that, like I really don't want to get too far down into the weeds of XG, but it does give you at least a primer of how good the shot was. Like, how good of a chance was it for them to score on that opportunity? And in a lot of circumstances, they're good, but they're not great.
Yep.
And in this game, you saw Colorado. Now, granted, one of these shots was like 1 XG on its own, and that was after John Pulskamp did I don't know what the fuck. And
he was pushed, Drew. Didn't you hear him?
I heard him complaining about it, and I heard people on the Discord vehemently believing that he was pushed. There's a difference between placing a hand on a body and shoving him.
Yeah.
And you can watch this video over and over and over again. This is one goal I did take a look at quite a bit.
Yep.
While I didn't rewatch the game, I looked at it quite a bit. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, man.
Amen.
I really don't.
Amen.
This is incessant whining. This is, and if you actually watch, he takes a shitty jump on this ball, makes a terrible play on it. And this is like literally after we spent, I don't know, 10 minutes of the last podcast talking about how much better he looks this year, how much better he is about commanding his box, how much better he is about claiming balls in the air than he has been in the past. And it just went to absolute shit in this game. And Chad Reynolds said, and I agree with him, he's like, there is a scouting report on Pulskamp, which is in swinging balls with pace, put people in front of him. And that is exactly what Colorado did in a lot of circumstances, and they created problems. I don't know why it hasn't shown itself until this game. Maybe other teams aren't maximizing that as much as Colorado tried to do in this one, but he looked bad in this game.
Yeah, like he really did. And like the margins are slim. Like that goal that he gave up, if he gets a hand to it, and if he instead of pushing it up and off the crossbar, if he just pushes it up and over the goal, like we don't even have that might have really gone a long way towards swinging the momentum in the game. But that's not what happened.
Sporting was decent coming out of halftime for about 20 minutes. I mean, not great, but decent.
Right, and enough to be competitive and still in the game, right? But that ruins it. And according to XG metrics, right? Like Sporting did not have any great chances, right? And Colorado had.
Let's talk about what a great chance is. So you're talking about what MLS stat and okay. So American Soccer Analysis has a whole thing about where goals come from. I would suggest you go read at least the first article about where goals come from. This is something that Carlin Carpenter and Jalen Moore put together several years ago, I think now. And it what it does is it just sort of gives you an idea based on proximity, players around, how the pass was hit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What creates the best type of chance that you want to have of scoring a goal. There's multiple things that go into it, but they have a mechanism by which they can, using XG and a number of other variables from underlying numbers, they can attribute great, good, average, poor to the quality of your shot as far as whether or not it's a good shot. So that's what you're referring to when you say great shots.
And as you might imagine, like great shots are shots that are at are at close proximity to the goal and like really in front of the goal mouth. And Colorado have
a wide angle to shoot at.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Colorado were able to create 5 of those chances and scored on 3 of them. And Sporting Kansas City were able to create 0. Like none of those chances. They created two good chances and scored 1 of them. That's what the metrics say about Sporting Kansas City's attack. And like that's just
the one they scored was shitty goalkeeping. Let's be honest.
Sure. And I mean, but the thing
Stefan should never get beat near post there ever.
But you want to talk about, man, that dude did not endear himself to me or to most of the folks in Children's Mercy. I'll say that. Like,
Zach Stefan? Yeah.
He's a piece of work, man.
He's kind of a dickhead.
He is kind of a dick.
I don't really have. I mean, this goes back to the Tim Howard days when the Cauldron was giving him the business when he played for the Rapids.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Rapids related thing. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah. I've never been much of a Zach Stefan fan, and I'm certainly not after that game. But he Shoppy takes the shot well. I mean, I'll give Shoppy credit for that. And it's actually a really nice quick 4-pass sequence. Bartlow to LBJ to Calvin Harris to Shoppy, and it's very vertical. It's exactly the type of goal that Rafa Wicki is trying to get this team to score. But it was really the only time that they looked that dangerous. I guess Joveljic got in one other time, and that was the other good shot.
That was his one shot. That was his I think that might have been his only touch in the box too. I mean,
and that was off of Manu Garcia pressure off of a terrible outlet by Zach Stefan, if I remember correctly. So both of Sporting's decent shots, one turned into a goal, one did not, were basically related to Zach Stefan errors. I don't know that. I think that maybe it's a reasonable time for us to have this conversation. And I don't know if it is or if it isn't, because we are waiting for the winger that was promised to arrive from Poland, or actually he's probably in Uganda at this point, trying to get or Angola. Damn it. Which African country am I getting wrong?
I think Angola is right.
Angola. Well, I said Uganda originally, so that's me fucking up. Kapita Kapemba working on his visa. That player is coming and will obviously shift the dynamics a little bit on the attacking side of the field. Can you imagine if Kapita got that diagonal that Calvin Harris, or that ball over the top that Calvin Harris got from Ethan Bartlow?
Yeah.
We might be, it might have been 1-0 very early in this game. But all of that said, I'm a little concerned about how this team means to create goals.
Yeah.
Not a little. I'm very concerned.
I think at this point, everybody should be concerned about how the team is going to create goals and how the team is going to prevent goals. Like those are like the team is last in the league in expected goal differential by quite a bit. Right,
it's not quite as bad as it was last year.
No, but it's still like three or four goals worse than anybody who's near us. And the thing is like we have signings to look forward to, but they're all a month away, or 2 months away, or 3 months away, and so and until that point, like to this point, I think that we had been cautiously optimistic about what we were seeing in the back line. But but frankly, what we saw Saturday really sets things back a little bit. Like they did not look up to the challenge at all, and so I'm a little concerned.
But that's my question for you: is this an aberration, or is this a sign of something that's going to get worse?
So this is why I kind of address the sort of game model thing, and how if you're building out of a 3-2 that includes 3 center backs and 2 and a double pivot, like that's a different thing than I think at least what their goal on Saturday was. And I think that it's clear now that when everybody's healthy, like this is going to look much more traditional and have like 2 center backs and 2 full backs and, a single pivot. And I'm really just not sure that, that is going to be a successful way to approach games. In this iteration of MLS, I think that, maybe LBJ is that guy. I don't know. He showed it maybe last week, but he didn't show it this past weekend. And so
he's been with the team for 3 weeks.
Understood. And and on Saturday there are lots of caveats, right? Like there's not your first choice at probably maybe any other position other than I guess maybe Bartlow.
Maybe Bartlow.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Is Bartlow a first choice center back if Orblorian is here?
Yeah. Who knows? All we know is what we've been seeing, right? And like what we saw on Saturday seemed to be a step forward in terms of Wiki's, like long-term goal in squad construction and game model, but it seemed to be a step backward in the actual play on the field. And that is a concerning thing for me, right? Like maybe it was closer to what his final version is going to be, but they look like shit. And that has to be taken into account. And so like shit, it might have to change, right? If running a 4-3-3 is not going to work with this crop of players, even with the incoming players, then you're going to have to scrap and go maybe with something more like a 3-5-2. And I don't know where Wiki's mind is in terms of that sort of transition.
If your center backs all suck, does putting more of them on the field make you better?
Yes.
I don't know that it does.
So I think that it does, but it's more towards the domino effects up the field, right? So maybe not, but having a double pivot definitely does, right? Having 2 players shielding, having 2 players shielding 3.
I've been trying to say this for. We've both been trying to say this since the beginning of last fucking season. Just put Bartlett in the middle of a back 3.
Yeah.
And put Manu and Lasse in front of him.
Like, from what I've seen so far this year, I'm fine with leaving Bartlett on the bench. Like, I'm not joking.
Well, but I'm
like,
not putting Jansen Miller back out there. There's no fucking way.
I
I'll
don't
take
know,
Ian
like,
James all day, every day, dude.
Ian James, yes. But Bartlett and Miller, like, I don't know, like, who's better? Like, I don't know. Maybe Bartlett, because you can just put him out there and tell him to run, which is kind of obvious that that's what's been asked of him. Because that dude's just running around crazy.
As a middle or right-sided center back, Bartlett is going to make less ridiculous decisions than Jansen Miller is a center back.
Yeah.
From what I've seen him, when I've seen him play the position, granted it was with the twos, but when I've seen him play the position, he looked the part and obviously was way better than the players around him. Now that's MLS Next Pro versus MLS, and there's a huge gap. We know that between those two levels. But I have much more confidence in Bartlett playing center back than I do any other position on the field. And so if we're going to do that and you want to play Bartlett, then pull him back there and have him play center back and stop forcing Jansen Miller onto the field. Jansen would be interesting if this team wasn't as problematic as it is. Because there's some shit he does that will create chaotic turnovers in points in time that a good team will take advantage of.
Yeah.
This team is not good.
Right.
They cannot absorb his chaos. They can't.
Well, and that can just go back to, maybe Blorian is the player to solve that problem, because maybe Blorian comes in and is able to cover up those inefficiencies from Miller. But I mean, so far we've seen that Bartlow is not that guy, right? Like Bartlow in out of context is a good player, but can he cover? I don't. No. I mean, he's not good. He's definitely not good enough to cover for Miller and Meyer at the same fucking
Absolutely
time.
Not.
Right? One guy is up being too aggressive, and the other guy is not athletic enough to cover the ground he's supposed to cover in the first place.
No, Bartlow is fine to sit next to or Blorian if he is as good as we think he is, or a Walker Zimmerman, or whoever, right? Like, if you have an elite center back, Bartlow is perfectly fine to sit next to that elite center back.
But he's not that elite center back.
No, he's not.
Right.
He is a guy who will not be a minus player next to your elite center back.
Yep.
Right? But he is not a guy who will save you from your poor center backs.
Yep.
Like that's not his skill set. I don't think Bartlett. I honestly, I think he's the best center back on the roster right now.
Oh, easily.
We haven't seen Diego Borges yet. I don't know what he's going to look like. He is officially here. We did get that announcement right after the pod launched last week. I figured it was coming. I didn't realize it was going to be the day after we released the pod. He already has his visa. He's already been practicing. Seems like he might have to fucking play pretty soon. Good news is we've got a weekend off because of the international break. He can get even more training. But he traditionally has played on the left. I don't know that we're going to see Wyatt Meyer anytime soon. Yeah. So hey, 20-year-old that we just signed that's got, 12 or 13 professional, first team professional starts. Get on out there, bud.
Okay, so this everything that we just talked about is the problem when you're trying to build the plane while it's taking off, right? And so, like all of the criticisms of David Lee are like right here because of that. Because you can't you can't build the plane while it's taking off. It increases the difficulty level, exponentially, and it's aesthetically a disaster. And that's what this team is right now. Is that you're trying to slot players in who are coming in while you're also losing players due to injury, and it's just the squad has no balance whatsoever. It's a fucking mess. It's a mess. And this is why you should have your squad more flushed out by preseason than what this team was. This is the whole reason for, the skepticism and the criticism of the squad construction in the offseason is because now we're here in the middle of it, and it's just absolute chaos. You've got a player coming in summer. You've got a player who was just signed. You have a player who was signed and it might be here in a couple of weeks or might not be here in a couple of weeks. Who fucking knows? It's an absolute mess. And imagine you're Rafa Wiki trying to make sense of it and trying to, move these pieces around and craft them into something that makes some kind of coherent sense that's competitive in the short term and in the medium term. And you start to realize when you follow that thought exercise through, you start to realize what a difficult task he's been given. And like, it's his task. He took the job. So like, he owns it, but like, geez, like it's a lot, man. And, and it's not going to get better anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, look, the transfer window closes on the 26th. I'd be surprised if anyone else is coming.
Right.
So best case scenario is Capita is here soon, and they're rolling with what they got until the summer.
Yep.
And that's a pretty. I mean, that's not ideal. Like, this roster is, to say incomplete, it would be being kind.
Yeah, and like you're trying to switch in the middle of the beginning of the season, like while games are being played. You're trying to toggle between playing 3 at the back versus playing 4 at the back, playing a double pivot between playing a single pivot, playing 2 central attackers versus playing just a single central attacker. There are just so many variables that you're that you're sort of chaotically trying to manage, and there's just no consistency, and so it's not a surprise that when you get your defensive midfielder a big signing and you're like, oh, okay, well, like, we're all set, we're gonna go to a single pivot 4-3-3, which is what I want to play, and then you try and roll that out and it's an absolute dumpster fire. Like, that shouldn't be a surprise, because you haven't prepped it.
Yeah, but I think what created this problem was winning in LA with it, as with LBJ as a single pivot, and then thinking that, oh, even though we have no healthy left backs, I can just shift Wyatt Meyer over there and it'll be fine.
Sure.
I mean, let's be fair. Like, honestly, this was a little galaxy brained by Rafa on this one.
Right.
If you were gonna revert to the 3 back, then you also need to revert to the double pivot.
Absolutely.
And or run some sort of like 5-4-1 kind of thing.
Yep.
Like this.
But my point, Drew, is that would be even the 5-4-1, right? The thing that you've just described, that would be more consistent with the way that the team has played in these first few games of the season than what happened on Saturday. And
right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like he got a little galaxy brain thinking he could pull this off because they won against LA.
Sure, I see what you're saying now.
They didn't actually dominate that game.
No, they're not a dominant team. They're a bad team. Like, the underlying numbers prove that they are not a good team.
That was a ball go in game.
Yeah, absolutely.
That wasn't a domination, and you gotta be aware, like, going into this game, that if you're going to shift back into this 3 center back setup, you need to also go back into the back 5.
Yep.
Like, those two things need to happen at the same time if you're going to try to pull this off. And if it means you pull fucking Bartlett off the field to run a double pivot with Manu and LBJ, then that's what you do.
Yep.
And you do something different at the 10 spot, right?
Yep.
You put fucking
Calhera there or whatever. Yeah.
I don't care. Afrifa, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But who gives
or move Manu up and put Ashabang back there? Like what?
But exactly,
what do you have to lose? I mean,
but don't do. Yeah, get Manu up the field if that's what you're going to do. I don't care. But their offensive passing patterns aren't good enough to be prioritizing getting exactly the right people in the offensive part of the field.
No, like, they can't score. It doesn't matter if they have all of their full complement of players. They're still anemic in the attack.
they're still ass at creating chances.
All you gotta do is
defend better.
If you look at the passes into the final third, right, that you can see on the MLS analytics Blue Sky account, if you look at the passes into the final third, they are like other than 2 of them out of 30, maybe 30, maybe 20 passes, they are all to the right side. They are all to Calvin Harris's side because that's the way the ball is going, and that means that something's not happening on the left hand side, right? Yes, we did.
Shapi Suleimanov exists.
Right,
that's what's
right. So that dynamic is. Like, I can see the thought process, but if it's not working, it's not working. And, the whole thing about playing Shapi inverted is that at least he can come in on his left and shoot. If he's just a wide player on the left-hand side, he hasn't shown that he's an adept crosser of the ball.
He was inverting onto his right foot.
I know, it's crazy.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
I know. All I can imagine is that he was tasked to do that, but I don't know why he would do that because
he would get the ball and go inside. I'm like, why are you doing this?
It's not like Wyatt Meyer is your fucking fullback. It's not like you're gonna have an overlap, right? Like what are you doing? Yeah, it doesn't. It didn't make sense.
0 sense whatsoever.
So just to be clear for everybody who's listening, like if you play Shapi wide, right, which is it's a fine way to do it. Playing wide on the left, that means that he is the wide playmaker over there. That means that since he's left-footed, that he has when he gets the ball, he is primed to cross the ball, maybe dribble and then cut back, but not drift in looking for a shot on his right foot, and that the idea is that if you have a player who's doing that, you have to account for width some way on the left hand side of the field. And if Shapi's cutting in and Meyer is not overlapping, that means there's no wide presence on the left hand side, which effectively is like tying one hand behind your back in attack. And that's essentially what was happening with Sporting Kansas City on Saturday, is that they were just neglecting that whole side of the field. Now, sometimes it works where you could switch the ball over there and you have a 1v1 opportunity, which is what happened for Shapi's goal. But you still need to address like sort of having a balance in attack in order to be at minimum to be unpredictable, and that's not what happened. Like Sporting Kansas City was very predictable, and that's why you saw Joveljic not getting touches in the box and only having one shot, and that's why you have you just make it easy for the other team to defend you, essentially, right? Because everything's going right, you can shut Calvin Harris down, no problem.
Yes, all of those things. And this is a problem they can't. I mean, they're going to try to solve by adding Capita to this front line, but it's still going to be one of Shapi, Harris, or Afrifa on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it being Harris. I think Harris is proving himself a useful player, if nothing else than playing in behind. And if Capita has that sort of ability to play in behind and dribble at players, then you have 2 of those players on either side of the field, all of a sudden, like the team becomes a lot more difficult to defend.
Yeah, I agree. And Harris did create trouble several times. It's so funny. It's worthwhile to look at the passes in the final third because sometimes this is a stat that can sort of throw you off a little bit. Passes into the final third, Sporting was almost equal to Colorado in this game. But if you actually look at the passes, so many of them are coming from the back end of the middle third, i.e. Lasse sending a long one. And you're right, they're all on one side of the field.
Well, I think that was one of the disappointing things is that with Lasse coming in, like we were hopeful that not only would it take the build out load maybe more off of Manu than what happened, but it would also allow Manu to shift further upfield, and that's really not what ended up happening, right? Like Manu was still, most of Manu's touches were in the defensive third, they're the defensive half of the field, and that's just not what you want, right? Like you have to have some sort of creative attacking presence.
I don't necessarily have as big of an issue with that as you do, but you have to have creative wingers if you're going to try to pull that off, right?
Sure.
So it's
there has to be some creative force up in the attacking
Shabby
third.
Suleimanov and Calvin Harris ain't that.
They are not that at all.
So you have to sort of string that line together then through the center of the field, and I think, and we touched on this right to start the pod. I think Manu getting pressed as hard as he did the first 10 to 15 minutes, pushed him further back than he probably should have been.
Yep.
And I think that I don't know that was necessarily a game plan for him to be that deep. It just sort of happened, and that's good coaching and good execution by the Rapids. Just sort of eliminating one of Sporting's most dangerous players. And you would do that. Like, look, this team is not very good. You should know who to target.
Yep. It's not rocket science. It's really not.
Doesn't take. You don't have to grind film for 8 hours to figure this one out. Okay. And I think that Matt Wells had a good plan for how to, and it's not like Manu never got any joy, but they did a pretty good job of limiting him, and that really limited Sporting's attack.
Yep.
And it was very clear to see. And then it created a ton of turnovers in central midfield, and Manu does not have the teammates to put it on his foot.
Yep.
Put it on the correct foot in a very narrow area so he can turn out of pressure.
Yep.
Like that requires passers that are of higher quality than most of his teammates.
Exactly.
Lasse did it a couple times, but I mean, like Ethan Bartlow and Jake Davis are not going to pull this pass off regularly. Jansen Miller sure shit isn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, or Jacob Bartlett, right? Like these are not guys you're expecting to pinpoint the correct foot to allow him to turn out of pressure, to see the pressure where it's coming, pass him out of it. Like that's just not these guys. And it was pretty clear in this game.
Once again, we're back to the point where you can see how the ideas could work with better players, but better players aren't here, and they're not going to be here anytime soon, with the possible exception of Kapemba. And so, we're just kind of
Kapemba's not passing to Manu. Right. And so this is
Kapemba doesn't seem like a very willing passer to anybody. So
but he's not going to, if Kapemba is sitting in the back line passing to Manu, we got a lot of problems. I think that Borges has shown the ability to be that type of passer in the limited film I was able to see. He seems like a guy who likes to push the ball forward. So, maybe there's something to be said there. I don't know. I really have no idea. So I'm grasping at straws at this point. I'm just hoping things don't look this bad next time.
At this point, there's no reason not to take a chance on other players, right? Like results aside, this is by underlying metrics. This is still the worst team in the league. The additions to the roster have not moved the needle substantially. They've moved the needle in terms of our enjoyment of watching the game, but they haven't moved the needle in terms of how good the underlying metrics say the team is. By the underlying metrics, and specifically expected goal differential, this is still by far the worst team in the league and should win the wooden spoon based upon that. And so just by that metric, you're not going to get relegated, right? The worst that can happen is you'll win the spoon. There's no reason why you shouldn't try some of these other players. Especially given, injuries to Meyer and whatnot. There's no reason to not see Borges.
And the opportunity to get these guys to go up in quality over that time.
Yes.
As I discussed last week, we're talking about, in most cases, early 20-year-olds.
Yep.
Or teenagers in the case of Ian James and Kwaku Ajibang. These are guys that are going to get better with more playing time. Now, you have to balance it. You have to make sure that they're not psychologically getting stuck out of the game by getting smoked every week. But these players will get better by playing more.
Yep.
And you will get to the summer with an opportunity to make some more changes and have some guys who have 1,000 minutes under their belt and ready to fucking go. I do think that there's value to that. As far as the metrics are concerned, this team is not good. They're the worst team in the league. like all of us know how bad Orlando City is defensively.
Yeah.
Sporting has a higher XGA than Orlando.
Yeah.
That should tell you everything you need to know. Now, granted, I don't know if I didn't balance out for non-penalty or not, but I don't even care. Sporting has a higher XGA than Orlando City.
And
worse, that team blows.
And worse attackers. And they're not getting Antonio Griezmann. So, you know.
Antonio? Did we make him Italian?
Oh, my God. I did. It's okay.
Antonio Griezmann.
Hey, we live in a global society, man. Just, you know, Anthony, Antonio, Antoine, they're all the same.
Yeah, they are getting Antoine. I don't know. All the jokes came as soon as the announcement came out. It's like, are they going to make him play center back? But yeah, I think that this team is still in a rough shape right now, and I've been hesitant to get into this conversation up until this point because it does us no good as proprietors of a podcast in which we are fans of this team and also know that everyone listening is fans of this team to really shit on the level of the team over and over and over again. It's not helpful. It's not valuable. All of you have eyes. You can see what's really going on. We prefer to find the silver linings, find the positives in this one. And there have been reasons to sort of be positive up until this point. This game was not one of them. Right. This was an absolute fucking failure on many levels. And it does highlight like how bad things can be with a roster like this.
Yep.
I think it may, if you're looking for the silver lining, it's noteworthy that this is the first time they've looked this bad.
Yeah. And like Colorado is, I think it seems to me Colorado is a version of what this team could be in a year, right? Like this team is not. There are many similarities between Sporting Kansas City and this Colorado Rapids team, and I don't. You know, it's tempting to turn up your nose because it's the Rapids, but it's like they're a good team, and they're a team that plays hard and that fights and that has enough talent on the attacking end to make shit work. And they're also a team that that showed ambition in going out and getting Aaronson. And let me tell you, Paxten can ball a little bit, man. Like, he was good. And he's sneaky good too. He's not like flashy good, but he is always in the right place.
I feel like an absolute idiot on several levels from the podcast last week because I also sort of was like, is Paxten good and are Colorado good? And
no, you can watch the game and have those questions. Like, I was watching the game and I was like, man, I don't know about Paxten. Like, is he all that? And then he's got two goals, right? It's
he
like
fucking trashed us in this game. So,
absolutely, yeah. And so yes, he is good. And the thing is that, he's good, but and Colorado's good, but they're not a level of good that's out of reach of even the Sporting Kansas City team, right? Like you can see with a few additions and maybe some subtractions, you can see how this team could be that pretty easily.
They got kicked in the mouth pretty hard in this one. I'm hopeful that Wiki takes some lessons from it. I don't think he's the type of coach that doesn't take lessons from that kind of thing and come back with something a little bit more pragmatic in the future.
Well, I think it's instructive too. Like, this is as much on him as it is on any player, right? It's as much on him as it is on, Bartlow or Bartlett or Pulskamp, who none of them had great games. But this loss is as much on Wiki as it is on any of them. And it's okay, right? Like, you will learn from it, you move on, and we'll have hopefully after the international break, we'll have additions to the roster, via players coming back from injury, and hopefully Kabeba coming, and so the team will look different then. So there's reason for optimism, but it's important, I think, also to be clear-eyed about the status of the roster and of the team.
This team is probably going to be battling for a wooden spoon.
Yeah,
it probably is. I don't like predicting those things, but that is where this team is, at least at this point in time. Yep. And there's no, like I said, other than Capita, there's no other significant reinforcements arriving until the summer window. Now, granted, that's only 14 games. and David Lee's got some work he can continue to do in the summer. That said, they've used 7 of 8 international spots already, and I don't know what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can buy domestics.
14 games could be 14 losses, so I don't look at it like only 14 games.
No, it's 14 total. It can't be 14 losses because we've already gotten through a draw and a win.
You're right.
Already,
you're right.
It couldn't be 14 losses. So there's that. But I think that, there's a separate conversation that we can have in the summer during the break about, what realistically can this team do, even though they have all this GAM stashed away, because Lee has been somewhat reticent to make interleague moves. Right. So maybe that's what starts happening. I don't know. But there's definitely work to be done. I think we all can agree to that, and we're just going to have to continue to watch and see if that progresses in a positive direction. I am very excited for Kapita Kapemba. I think that he is going to be a player that's going to help this team a lot.
Me too.
And he will fill a role that I think we're missing fairly significantly right now, that is filled by a player who's probably the first person I want to highlight on my favorite thing from MLS Week 4, who's Daniel Shalhoub, who is playing great for Toronto right now.
Yep.
He looks like the player we know. We had this conversation a little bit on the Discord about this, and this is your weekly reminder to join the Discord. Links in the show notes. Come participate in the conversation. Shalhoub, I think I have always felt, has been one of the better players on the team for basically the last 8 years.
Yep.
For whatever reason, that 1 year after he did the no-look goal where he couldn't finish, it seems to sort of hang with him, and it's like, oh, he's inconsistent. He was inconsistent then. He's pretty much been one of the more productive wingers in the league over that period otherwise.
Yep.
And has his goals and assists have fairly been in line with his expected goals and assists, which are at like half a goal a game. So like, I don't know where some of that comes from. I think it's more vibes than it is like reality, but he's a great player, and he's a great MLS player.
He really is.
And I think that, as we discussed at the time, I think this was the right move for both teams to make. I don't think Daniel's time in Kansas City, he doesn't need to be part of this rebuild with a bunch of young 20-year-olds.
No, he needs to go somewhere where he can win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I don't know if Toronto's there this year, but they might be next year. He did sign a contract extension that was part of the add-ons for GAM. So the $200K that Daniel Sperry already reported that he was that had been triggered. So now we've got definitely $500K in GAM for the transaction. The $200K that was triggered was for that contract extension. He's already got 2 goals and an assist in 4 games. Something tells me he's going to hit those other ones pretty easily. And he looks like himself again. And he looks like the Daniel Shalhoub we know. And it was just nice for me to see. I know some people are sort of sad that it's not happening with us, but I got to be completely honest. I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, I am. Especially after watching this team get dog walked on Saturday.
Yep.
He deserves to go somewhere and play for a decent team.
Yeah, and he deserves to play on a team where, like, my impression of Shalhoub was always that he, if he was like the 3rd or 4th best attacker on your team, you're going to be good, right? Like that's where he should be. And on this team, there would be a lot more expected of him. And he's not like, he's not like number 2, right? Like
he would be number 3. He would be behind Manu.
See, I like Manu at this point is like,
he's not really an attacker.
Not an attack, I guess. Right? Yeah. And so
secondary assist guy is best thing for
right.
Manu. Yeah.
So I think that it's really, like, for him, it's probably a really good move, and I think that Toronto is probably a year or maybe 2 years ahead of where Sporting Kansas City is in terms of their roster and their rebuild process, and so I think it's a good move for him, and I could not be more happy for him. So good for him.
That was the first thing I was going to catch from MLS. Yeah. I'm going to let you tell me what your next thing is, because I got like 1 or 2 more small ones. But what did you see from this week?
So, like, I continue to to say, like, if you have the opportunity to watch FC Dallas, you should watch FC Dallas because Musa scored the game-winning goal for them again against the Dynamo.
Maybe the best striker in the
dude,
league. Sam Surridge might have something to say, but he might be the best striker in the league.
He is, he's got 5 goals already this year. He is, and he came off the bench to play, to score that winner against the Dynamo. Like, he is the real deal, and you should watch him before he goes away from MLS.
He seems to be single-handedly lifting Dallas to wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He is that kind of player for sure. And so that was really my one thing to look at. It was like there's a lot of really lopsided victories, like Nashville 5-0 over Orlando and Charlotte 6-1 over Red Bulls.
Let me highlight that Nashville game.
Go for
Orlando is bad. Orlando is bad. Don't get me wrong.
Bad.
Nashville is fucking lethal.
They are humming.
Dude.
Yep.
I was when they got Christian Espinoza, I was like, oh man, this team could be really good. And they looked like every bit of what that team could be against Orlando, who again is not good.
But they
defensively.
also look that good against Miami, who are better than Orlando. So
yes,
like Nashville are the real deal and appointment watching.
And that is a team, again, you're talking about a team in a market that Sporting should 100% aspirationally be thinking that they should be able to achieve. Mike Jacobs, who is their CSO, used to work for us.
Yep.
So, like, there's no reason why Sporting shouldn't aspire to that level of success. And, man, they have a really fun team. A really fun team.
Absolutely.
Andy Nahar, I love watching, too. Like, it's weird to be excited about a right back, but he's really good.
Yeah.
Like, he's really, really good.
I mean, the Inter Miami New York City game was entertaining and a little crazy. It's difficult to endorse watching that because it's on a baseball field.
I just wanted to see Messi play in Yankee Stadium, man. That's
all
I cared about.
He did it, and it was fine. Like he made it happen. So he's like he had He had a ball off of the crossbar and the post in the first half. It was nuts. Like, he's something else.
Yeah. He didn't, I mean, again, it was a fairly even game, actually, as far as chances were concerned. But I hate watching soccer on that field.
Me too.
But I did actually tune into it just because.
Yep.
It's just like it was something so MLS about watching Lionel Messi play soccer on that field.
Same. Yep.
That you just sort of had to see it. You just had to be there. The last one I'm going to hit, and I've already hit this team once this year, so I'm going to actually specifically talk about one player. Xavier Gozo is really fucking good, dude. Holy shit, is he good. Like, he's going to get European offers well north of $10 million in the summer. He is so good, man. And I actually had an interesting conversation on the SoccerWise Discord with an RSL fan. Should Poch have maybe been trying to take a look at this kid earlier? Because they have no wingers. Like, none.
Yeah.
There are no wingers in the U.S. men's national team pool. And Gozo is an out-and-out winger / wingback. This is the problem with modern football. Wide players are basically fullbacks now.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what they are. They're wingbacks / fullbacks. It seems like RSL is sort of playing him as a wingback, although he doesn't have many defensive responsibilities. Reminds me a lot of Alphonso Davies, just on the opposite side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
I
just see that.
I think this kid might be special, like legitimately special, and maybe something that, like I said, the U.S. men's national team is bereft of wide attackers, and they might have been able to use someone like him. Although on that side, they do have Weah, who is very good at patrolling that side from wide.
Yeah, I am. I don't know. I am kind of the opinion that that you really only need one wide player, right? Whether that's a fullback or a winger. So you just need, if it's Weah, okay, he can patrol the entire right wing, and Anthony Robinson can patrol the entire left wing, and then that's that, and then you overload central areas, and I think that's basically what Poch is trying to do, and so I think that
if you're doing the 5 wide thing, the 2-3-5-3-2-5 thing, that makes complete sense. I totally understand.
And so Pochettino has Weah. He also has Alex Freeman, who can do that job. I mean, shit. Honestly, probably Joe Scally can do that job to a lesser degree as well. And so, like, I'm not certain that the U.S. men's team would have benefited from a Gozo call up, but it would have been cool for him for sure. He's an exciting player, and like I think that one thing that the U.S. men's team needs is a little bit more juice, right? They need a little bit more excitement. And
that's my thing. He's the only wide attacker we have that stands up a defender and dribbles him.
Well, but just because he does that to MLS defenders does not mean he'd be able to do that at the international level. That's
perfectly fair. Against Belgium, maybe he gets smoked doing that, but I would prefer to get him out there to see him do it and get him that experience because he's going to eventually have to do it in Europe. Yeah. Like I feel fairly confident about that.
Amen.
So, give him a shot and see what he can do. I watched him quite a bit on Sunday, and he looked really, really good against a San Diego defense. Like Luca Bambino is no slouch, and he just abused him several times.
Yep. So instead of overloading the midfield, you could have a team that doesn't even have any midfielders, and that would be like the Kansas City Current,
Oh my God!
It's like get rid of all your good midfielders.
You want to talk about like a shitty roster build? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's a mess.
Like
and it only took one game. It only took one game for it to really rear its head, and it was obvious.
I had to agree with Leanne Sanderson, who was calling this game. Like, hey, they don't really have any midfielders, and they're moving Katie Scott in here, and that seems weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it! Like it was the meme. It's like the worst person just made a great point. I really like Lowe was. I give Lowe a lot of credit. She was just coming off injury, basically playing central midfield by herself.
Yep.
Because Katie Scott was not it.
Yep. Yeah, it's rough, isn't it?
And Croy Bethune was playing like left wing. I'm so confused.
So
this is like a pretty poorly executed game, like a really poorly executed game.
Squad building is important, and as in modern football, like 10 years ago, like Peter Vermes was responsible for the play on the field and the building of the squad, and it was easy to point that out, and now there's a lot of different cooks in the kitchen, and the current roster build issues really in some respects remind me of Liverpool's roster build issues, which is you just prioritize the wrong things to really a ridiculous degree, right? And you're prioritizing attack and signing dynamic attackers, but if you don't have anybody who can get those attackers the ball, or you don't have ball winners, or you don't have a balance, if you don't prioritize squad balance, then you're gonna get worked, and that's what we saw from the Current, is that that's a team that has not prioritized a balanced squad build, and they have no midfield, and that's when you don't have a midfield, you can't control games, you can't win balls, you can't supply attackers. It's like
you
very
end
obvious.
up having your opponent go downhill against you with odd man or odd woman runs.
Yep,
like
all
it's
the time.
going to happen, and
all
it happened
time.
several times. The Stars only took 4 shots in this game, and they had 1.3 xG.
Yeah.
Like they gave up worse chances than Sporting did in this one.
That's hard to do.
It is fucking unreal, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like. It's because their midfield was a sieve. Like it was simple to play through and get the most ridiculous scoring chances going, and it was the most predictable thing ever. Like it was, you could have. Listen, we know that the whole Claire Hutton situation is more nuanced than they decided to let her go and trade her and get Croy Bethune. We know that it's more nuanced than that. it seems like Claire's not long for the NWSL, and she wants to control her own destiny, and that's fine.
She's not the only midfielder in NWSL.
No fucking shit.
Like, come on, do something.
Like, come on. Like, you can't give away the preeminent. Like, Claire Hutton is going to be starting games in the World Cup in 2027, and you giving away a World Cup central midfielder and replace her with nothing.
Nothing. With a college right back. It's wild.
And instead got another number 10, of which you have like 4.
Yeah.
If you consider Ali Sentner a number, I don't know what position Ali Sentner is. The frustrating one is what she is. I'm sorry, she frustrates the shit out of me. I find her to be. I said
this last week. Yeah, that's like my hottest take is that I just like that is just not for me, man. I'm not about that life.
She is like really bad until she's good,
right?
And then she'll score a banger, and you're just like, okay, fine,
right?
I guess it's worth having her out here. But what about the whole rest of the game where she was a minus player?
Right. What if she doesn't score a banger, which is what we saw over the weekend, right?
And then she's basically, why is she even here?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple where she cut in on her right foot and had a legitimate look at the net and got nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Like, I expect marquee players who are supposed to be good at shooting to put it a little bit closer to the frame than that on those type of shots. And it's like, she's like freaking J.R. Smith. No, yes.
Yeah. That is her. No, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That's her new name.
And I don't want to dog on players, but I don't get it. Nope. I don't get the Ali Sentner stuff. I know she's been good for the women's national team, but I will take Katarina Macario every day of the week and twice on Sunday over her. I'm sure most people would, to be completely honest, but still, like, I don't think I'm saying anything wild by saying that, but I'd even take Jordan Huitema, who played great in this game for Chicago.
Yeah.
There are a number of solutions at center forward in NWSL that I would take over Ali Sentner. And that is the position she should play because it gives her the least amount of responsibility for passing.
Right.
Which she is not good at.
She is not.
So this became an Ali Sentner rant. Sorry. We're both a little punchy right now because it has been a shit weekend.
Just the worst. Soccer. The worst.
For your boys. Like, we're texting each other on Sunday, like, the dumb game, right? Like, why even watch this stupid fucking game?
Yeah.
Like, that has been kind of our general existence over this weekend, so we're a little punchy, but yeah. I mean, thanks, Chris Armas. That was wonderful.
You have more reason to be punchy than I, so, like, you know, I'm just coasting on your in your wake, sir.
I didn't even talk shit to you about how we got the draw last week, and I didn't do any of that. I knew not to poke it. I knew not to make it worse. It didn't matter. Still shit the bed this weekend, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Whatever.
That's sometimes you just got to say that. Whatever. Don't
at least West Ham lost too. I don't know.
Well, no, it's like I said. At least Arsenal didn't get a trophy this time. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's just postponing the inevitable. I'm afraid.
Maybe, but, maybe not.
They'd have to abolish the meat wall. Can IFAB do that?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
Meat wall's in play.
Yeah. One thing to look for. It's an international break.
Yeah.
We don't have to watch any of our shitty soccer teams.
You want to talk about lack of wingers. Watch the U.S. men's team.
That's what I was trying to say. That's why they need Xavier Gozo. They need a fucking winger on their team. That is basically what we're watching this weekend. Did you Did you have any wonderful takeaways from the roster drop and who was shunned and who was not? And
No, I don't.
Why was Gio Reyna included? He's only played 26 minutes for his team this year.
No, I don't give a shit about any of that stuff because I ascribe to the Joe Lowry school, which is that there's like none of the players who are on the fringes who are left on or put off or vice versa. None of them are going to make an appreciable difference in the quality of the team. The team is kind of what it is, right? And they're probably a team that's going to get out of the group stage and not progress a whole lot further than that. And obviously they can capture magic and surprise everybody, and that would be a great story. But it's foolish to expect them to do so. And so, really what I'm looking for is just, they're playing two good teams in Belgium and in Portugal. And so I just want to see like competent and competitive performances. Like I'm not even looking for anything special. I just want to see them getting out there and competing. I'm really excited to see, Wes in a full camp and to see, where he plays and how well he plays and how well he meshes with everybody around him. I think that for me is probably the most, interesting thing about the U.S. men's team in this particular window. Other than that, I just hope that Tim Ream is not embarrassing. And that's about it, honestly.
He has looked terrible.
Yeah.
To start this season, dude.
I mean, some players are like that. When Father Time comes, it's like it's a full on grand entrance.
It's a fat. The problem with Tim is he's never been the most fleet of foot or any of those things. So it's he was sort of it. You couldn't really tell was it really falling off, and then he has just hit a wall this year as far as I'm concerned. And he looks bad. I
mean, that happens, and at his age, it's to be expected. And the fact that it's not his it's not his fault that there's nobody better, right? It's not his fault.
I was gonna say who the fuck plays center back other than him?
I mean, that's Miles Robinson. I mean, that's where we are, right? It's just not good. So yeah,
and we really don't have left center backs either.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Mark McKenzie. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, and there you're talking about a guy who is notorious for having 1 to 2 giant fuck ups in a game.
Yep.
Playing for the national team.
Yep.
And you just can't do that in international soccer. You really can't do that. And so it just, I don't know, man.
I don't know either. It
is by far my most concerning area of the field. The problem is that there's nothing they can do about it. It's just who they have.
Yep.
And it's not Noki Banks has made it clear that he's not coming. So
it's a rough
have
one.
To make it work.
Yep.
Just got to make it work.
Choice.
They're going to have to go with the elbow backy thing, and which is fine because they don't have any right-sided wide attackers. Maybe we see the way Alex Freeman double stack. Maybe we'll see something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm probably most concerned about the fact that Christian Pulisic is sort of playing like dick right now. Although he did get an assist this weekend, which is better. But ever since he come back from his injury, he has not been playing very well for Milan. Milan in general has not been playing well, but he has not made much impact on improving them. The other one that is probably the most interesting to me is to see if he can sort of subvert a thing that has been a consistent issue with him with the national team is one Joao Cardoso de Souza, Johnny Soccer. Can this fucking guy look like he does when he plays for Atletico de Madrid, who is just kick the shit out of my soccer team, although not in the home game for some reason. Tottenham had to win the home leg of that series 3-2 just to make me feel like they had a chance.
Just to give Igor Tudor a job. Some job security.
Keep Igor Tudor. Well, I mean, what are they going to do? Hire they're going to be like fucking Nottingham Forest. I mean, their 17th coach this season.
Big Sam, man. Big Sam.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even know if I could deal with that right now. But Johnny Cardoso is a good soccer player. It's obvious he's a good soccer player. I don't know why it doesn't work for him at the international level, but it has not. he has been ass several times. Can he be not ass?
That's a big ask, honestly. My signs point to no.
We don't have any examples of him being not ass for the national team. I'm hopeful that maybe in these friendlies we can find some. But yeah, I mean, I just love that this team is such a like mix of the old school MLS tryhard guys and the European the Euro snob contingent. There's a really good cross of them. And then Brendan Aaronson, who is sort of like both of those.
I don't know, man. I love Brendan Aaronson, and I also don't like him at all. So, it's one of those things.
He's like I said, he's an MLS tryhard guy that also plays in the Premier League.
He does. Yes, both of those things are true.
I mean, back in the day, when this was Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey, we thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I think we've all learned that there are levels to this.
We've grown.
But,
we've evolved. It's okay.
We have. Say what you want about Gio Reyna and the fact that he never plays for the Munchies. He is always good when he's healthy and he plays for the national team.
Yeah, that's true. If he can be healthy, then it's okay. But I think that I think he's going to have to get past second gear to play Belgium and Portugal. Right.
That's the problem.
And the problem is that like that dude is never healthy, and so you can't build a squad around him or a game model around him because he's the only player who's like him in the whole pool, and he's never healthy. So it's like he is the epitome of a luxury player, right? If you have him, great. Maybe you put him on and he'll create some magic, but you can't count on him in any respect, and so that makes it a little bit difficult. That said, I would like if I had the opportunity, I would absolutely include him on the roster. But you cannot in any respect build your game model around that player.
If he's not available, do you think like an Alex Zendejas is probably the right one to put in for him? I'm trying to think of like I don't know. Right-sided half space merchant that's creative.
Probably. I'm not like super familiar with Zendejas' game, but sure, that sounds fine. I mean, I think Wes can play that too, right? Like I would be fine. Yeah. I would be probably better.
Well, that's Wes' value is that he can play both of those 10 positions.
Anything but goalkeeper.
Right wing back. Yeah. There's a number of things that he can do. Either part of the double pivot. Although I'd prefer there's someone more defensively responsible next to him because Wes does like to roam.
He does.
But I mean, that's the benefit of a healthy Weston McKennie is he can do many things.
I'm just so grateful, and I never thought I'd say this, but I'm so grateful for Christian Roldan because the guy's a baller, and he is probably the second best deep midfielder, after Tyler Adams, and Tyler Adams is also a player who's never healthy, and so like I'm I'm just
glad Poch figured it out.
Yeah,
that's my biggest
when
thing.
Roldan was playing further up the field, I was like, dude, why are we keep calling this guy in? He's not that good. But like in this deeper role, like he's perfect. And
he's always been a 6. Like when his best years with Seattle were that way. I feel like the problem with Roldan is he's just like McKennie. He'll play wherever you ask him to,
right? And
he'll do a serviceable job in many of them.
Yep.
He's not like Wes, where he can literally do it, at the top 4 of Serie A in like 5 different positions. But he is like Wes, and where he can do it at the top 5 of MLS in all those positions.
Yep.
And but as a 6, he's like legitimate. He's legitimately a good player at that position. We'll have to see. I love Poch's quote when it came to Wes because we were a little concerned, at least at one point, as whether Poch really like rated Wes at all. And he was like, it's Wes and 10 other Juventus players.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, and there's something to be said. He signed a new contract. And are they going to get a new coach in the offseason? He's going to be out again, and we're just going to go through this whole.
I have faith. I'm not going to fall for it this time. I'm going to be like, oh, he's in.
You would hope at this point that people would have seen the history with him. I mean, I will also give him credit. He did really commit himself physically and fitness wise to really be improved this year, and it's showing. It's showing for sure.
Amen.
And when Wes is dialed in, dude, he's my favorite player on the team.
One of the best. Yep.
He is the only one that reaches Christian Pulisic levels of quality, in my opinion.
Yep.
He's
definitely got the swag.
Gio creatively is probably the best player I've ever seen play for this team. But when we're talking about full, complete soccer player, Wes is the only one that comes close to Pulisic.
Does Wes have swag or Riz? I'm thinking. I'm leaning toward Riz.
I don't even know. Do people even say the Riz thing anymore?
No.
I think that was 3 years ago.
It is. So swag is 10 years ago.
Swag. Well, there was a whole thing going around. There was a TikTok stream that got passed around where it was I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe it. But anyway, it was bringing back old phrases, and it was the black community versus the white community, and there was well, we need you to bring back this, and we're well, okay, well, if we're going to bring back this, then you have to bring back this. And it was some very white phrases versus some very black phrases, and swag is probably one of the whiter ones, I would say. Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of rad.
Yeah.
Cool.
Rad's pretty. Rad's pretty white.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that probably went further down this road than I probably wanted to. Anyway, they play on Saturday, right? Belgium is 2:30, I think, in the afternoon on Saturday. So that is our weekend soccering outside of the Kansas City Current. The Current have a game this weekend, right?
I assume so. I haven't even looked.
This is what happens when we record this on a Monday and I'm not prepared. They play.
It's my fault. I take full responsibility, Drew.
They play on. Oh, geez, they play on Wednesday. That's right, because they've got the weird schedule shit going on.
Wednesday and Saturday.
They are in Seattle, playing in Spokane because no one can play at the at CenturyLink because, or is it what is it now? Lumen Field, because they're putting the grass in. So they play in Spokane on Wednesday night, and then are they back here?
No, they're in Portland. On Saturday.
That's a good way to do it though. They can just stay over on the West Coast. That'll be a crazy game. That would have been a good one to road trip to.
Yep.
I would like to go to an away match in Portland.
I've never been to Portland. I would to a game in Portland. I've been to Portland, but
I've been to Portland several times and I've walked by the stadium, but I've not been to a game there. And I feel like an away Current match would be a really cool one to go to.
Amen. Maybe next year we'll do a home and away.
We'll have to do that because that one sounds pretty fun.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all we got this week, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed all of our misery. Hopefully the misery doesn't continue. Well, there can be no more Sporting Kansas City misery this week. It is what we've experienced all of it. There is no game this weekend. We will be back next week to try to break down what will hopefully not be another misery-laden performance. And until then, I'm Drew. He's Cody. We will talk to y'all next week.
Bye-bye.